I was a straight A student in school.
I'm a quick learner and a good problem solver. However, things changed when I first learned how to code. Back in old days, the words in X month were like magic to me. Whenever I saw videos and tutorials teaching how to master coding in X month, my eyes always light up. And I got super motivated by just thinking that I would be able to write complex code like those cool people do in such a short period of time. So I followed the steps laid out in those videos to a T, and a couple months went by. I found myself nowhere close to mastering coding. Then I moved on to other in X month videos and articles, like step-by-step roadmap to learn coding in 2 months and get hired. Again, I'm still confused and I felt a barrier sitting between me and programming, where I struggled to even get a virtual environment set up. I was defeated by lots of mistakes, and realizing that I was no longer the best at what I'm doing leads to lots of frustration. I gave up multiple times because I thought I'm just not cut out for programming.
Now, what advice would you be giving to that young lady back then? Let me guess. Like, power up, be confident, you can do this. But was my problem due to lack of confidence? Actually, no, it's quite the opposite. I was overly confident that I could master coding in a couple of months. So when it didn't happen the way I wanted to, I gave up. I also blame those programming influencers for putting out content like this. What? Just kidding. So my biggest mistake, thinking that I could learn to code without putting in much effort. Now, how do you become good at programming? First thing first, your mentality. In order to become good at programming, you have to admit that you are not good yet. You just started learning how to code, and all you've done is taking several online courses or boot camps over the past few months. And now you're comparing yourself to people who have dedicated 10 years, 20 years, or even their entire lives to coding. Of course, that won't work. So next time, when you come across lines of complex code that get you overwhelmed, thinking about how good those people are at problem solving and how you will probably never get there, please tell yourself to stop, because this mentality won't do any good other than making you even more frustrated. Instead, tell yourself to think about how much time and effort they would have put in order to get to that level. You are no less intelligent than those cool programmers. You just need to spend the same amount of time as they did. Learning to code is a long journey. It's not a sprint that transforms you from zero to hero in a couple of months. So Stack Overflow 2020 survey found that on average, it takes 2 to 5 years to get a professional job. That's not surprising, right? Because for programmers with degrees in computer science, it may take anywhere between 2 to 4 years in order to complete a program before applying for jobs in this role. And not to mention that some people even continue to get their masters, which would add an additional 2 years. So if coding isn't just a hobby for you, you should expect to spend at least a year to get good at it. Also keep in mind that coding isn't just memorizing the syntax of a programming language. It's more about solving problems, and a tutorial claiming X month won't teach you problem-solving skills. Problem-solving skills can only be improved through practice, and more practice requires time and persistence. Remember that when you were a kid and your parents didn't buy the toy you wanted, so you cried and rolling around on the floor, you refused to leave the store because you wanted that toy so bad, and then you caused a scene. Then chances are your parents would give up and you got that toy. And this is the persistence and determination you need when learning how to code. You get stuck and didn't know how to proceed. Instead of letting your motivation walking out of the door, you should act. And of course, rolling around on the floor wouldn't help. Well, probably it may help with letting go of the emotions temporarily, but you can break the problem down into simple steps. and you can Google, or you can learn and search similar questions on Stack Overflow. At the end of the day, there will be solutions to every single problem you come across. To find the solutions, all you need is perseverance. Just like when the little you wanted that toy, you didn't quit. You just keep trying. Being persistent is the best advice I can give on learning how to code. I know it's easier said than done. If you're like me, who had dedicated lots of energy to online coding courses and really didn't get anywhere because it's difficult to stick to and finish them up. Don't blame yourself for having a short attention span. It's not your fault. Well, in my humble opinion, the way those courses teach you doesn't allow you to experiment and see the results. They guide you through the perfect coding examples line by line, and voila, problem solved. It's like they're handing you all the ingredients and the recipe to make a perfect cake. But when the situations change, like your oven has a different temperature, you don't know how to bake that freaking cake. Now, what should you do? Well, you should treat baking the cake as a project and learn all the ingredients and recipe to bring it to life. This is the idea of project-based learning. Check out this video for more details about this approach. And it's the only way that has worked for me because you get to hold yourself accountable and you will be engaged in learning each step and end up feeling fulfilled when seeing the results. That being said, not all projects are created equal. Those simple generic projects like linear regression with Boston house prices dataset or flower classification with ARIS data, those projects won't do any good to keep your motivations going. You need to choose projects that can tell a story that you feel connected to. I have a video sharing my best coding project, which I will be linked here, so be sure to check it out. Trust me, in working on those projects, your retention will improve dramatically. Learning a new skill needs time, and mastering it needs more time. Persistence powered with project-based learning really pays off in the long run. When you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you won't regret your decision on learning how to code. And this concludes my video today. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you pretty soon in my next video. Bye, guys.